Hello, BookTube. Very good to see your faces again. It's been chaos here at Hyde Cottage, as you can probably tell by the fact that the unthinkable has happened. The little book room is undergoing a massive upheaval. Massive. A bunch of very kind people took all the books off the shelves, wiped down all the shelves, changed the shelves, moved the shelves, and then, as much as time permitted, put some books back on the shelf, but that's largely going to fall to me. And so, as you can see, I have had the weird pleasure, it's a lot of work, but it's a weird pleasure, a couple of people that I know have just recently had it, of having all of your bookshelves empty and needing to restock them from piles. It's there's actually a minimalism rule. Not to give you flashbacks, there's a minimalism rule about the packing rule, where you put everything, pack everything away as if you were moving. In minimalism, in the stricter circles of minimalism, you're supposed to do it even though you're not moving, and then pull the stuff out as you need it or want it or miss it, and watch to see how much you don't pull out at all. Needless to say, a personal book collection is extremely vulnerable to such a practice because we all accumulate dead weight. So there was a moment this weekend where I saw this little book room ringed in a new arrangement of shelves entirely denuded of books, just empty in every way. And I have had to decide with every day that passed what would go in here and what wouldn't. As you can see, some of you will be wailing in outrage. The penguin wall has moved. It is still here, and a truncated version of it is still here, but it's off camera. It's over to this side here, or no, that side there. And that was truncated mainly by getting rid of doubles, sometimes triples. Many of the works that we saw on our Daily Penguin that just again, to use Marie Kondo language, don't spark joy, where I just have the Penguin Classic of that author or that book in order to have the Penguin Classic. Well, that's not how I want to do my books at all. So that caused a large amount of those to go, a lot more than I thought. Once I got down to my core Penguins, it wasn't nearly as many as I thought, and that still left all the rest of the books. What other books are going to kind of come into this room? Are there maybe decisions that I've made recently or in 2020 about what comes in here and what doesn't that I don't like, that I had a perfect chance to redo? It's the neat thing about having blank walls and blank empty shelves is that you can redo mistakes. So in the way of a MegaStuff video, that is thing number one, is the thing that is obvious, which is that I am still figuring out what's going in this room and how it's going in and how it's organized. Most of these bookcases that you can see behind me were made by one particular person specifically for me. And one characteristic of a lot of them is that the shelves aren't very tall. So where the books go in this room is going to be in large part determined by how tall they are, and not by whether or not they make a set. But even sets is another thing. Modern libraries, new or old, everyman libraries, new or old, all of Patrick O'Brien, that's one whole shelf. Do I devote that in here or do I give it room somewhere else? It's a nice problem. Like I said, it's not a hardship. It's really nice to be handling all your books and seeing them all again, especially when a large amount of the back-breaking labor of moving them falls on other shoulders. So you're going to see this room slowly fill up with books. Obviously, you are. Because the little book room, wherever I live, is not a place where there is staging. It's not a place where there are questions. It's not a place where I ever have a spot for things coming and going. Every inch of shelf space in here is going to fill up. Just hasn't happened yet. And then for another MegaStuff bit, of course, babies. I asked a while ago for you to send me pictures of your books, and being who you are, you sent me pictures of your dogs, your cats, and your rats instead. And I have only one baby picture for you today. There was no competing with this baby picture, not only for the picture itself, which you're going to love, but also for the story. This is Chunky. And don't you mind the badass pointy collar. That is exactly the kind of foot-wide, shovel-strong, pink-nosed pitbull that I was talking about just the other day in a video. saying that they are, without any competition, the sweetest breed of dog anywhere. The happiest, the friendliest, the cuddliest, the gentlest. And that if that flies against your perception of this breed, it's only because there have been humans who have tortured this breed. Because when they are big, when Chunky is full size, and I guarantee I have never met Chunky, and I don't think I ever will. There's nothing I would rather do than smooch that face. But I guarantee you that although Chunky is very sweet and very gentle, he's also immensely strong, just incredibly powerful. What you're seeing even in that picture is just solid muscle and bone. And that is what has led many depraved humans to torture these animals into killing machines, where they wouldn't do it with a whippet or a greyhound or whatever. But Chunky has just been adopted. So here in this picture, you can see the specter of the shelter. He was only at the shelter for a little while, but it is absolutely traumatic for dogs. And you can see it in his face, I think, that he's vaguely remembering it, almost wondering, is this temporary? This is so much better than people screaming in agony all around me, screaming in misery, me living on concrete behind a cage. This is so much better, but is it going to be taken away from me? And it's not going to be. And I wish I could be there. There will be a moment, stretched out over the course of an afternoon probably, but it will come and it will be discreet, when Chunky suddenly realizes right down to his DNA that this is not changing, that his life has been saved. And he's going to go nuts. I wish I could be there. I wish I could be there so I could go nuts with him. It'd be like the Farmer Hoggett dancing at the end of Babe. We'd just knock everything over, the two of us. But it's fine by me. Anytime that I become aware that one more dog has been saved, when there are so many that can't be saved, that will never be saved. Every time I learn that one has been saved, I feel a weight lift from me. I really do. I know that sounds melodramatic, but I really do. There's one less dog in the world that I need to worry about. So that, I can't thank the sender of the picture enough. And I know I am brutally ignoring little Daisy, who had to give up. She had to share her home with this enormous, ungainly outsider. But I thought Chunky deserved the spotlight. And then another MegaStuff item involves also the chaos that's going on here at Hyde Cottage, which is that, as you know, I am installing a nudist-only sunroom, a nudist solarium. I think it's a cool, hep idea, and befitting a smoldering 28-year-old such as myself, with wavy raven black hair and bee-sting lips and A-frame shoulders and narrow dancer's waist and an 8-pack. And a couple of you have emailed me and said that you would much rather that it be a never-nude solarium. On the one hand, props for referencing Arrested Development, one of the greatest TV sitcoms of all time. And on the other hand, how dare you? There will be nothing but crown jewels on display in that nudist solarium, I will have you know. Then another item that I wanted to mention is book lists. We've been mentioning this a little while with increasing frequency as the videos have gone on, that as we get closer to December and to Christmas, we're going to be flooded with book lists. Every single publication that draws breath, right down to the Bergen County Shopper, is going to be coming out with 10 best books of 2020, 20 best books of 2020, that sort of thing. Some will be much longer and more elaborate than that, the Washington Post, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, but everybody will do it. And those lists are starting to accumulate. They're starting to become a little thicker on the ground. And so I wanted to mention two things. Number one, you want to keep abreast of them. I'm as fascinated by them as you are, as who's doing what, who's mentioning what. And one big one that just came out recently is The Guardian. Came out with, I think, the 20 top... They came out with a list of 20 in categories, and I wanted to recommend to you, and I'll leave a link down below, Karl Andersen did a fantastic walkthrough of that list of fiction. The thing that drives his passion, the thing that is his jam. He did just fiction. And it's wonderful. The video is absolutely wonderful. That's number one. The one thing that I wanted to mention about the increase of book lists. You're all going to see them. And the second thing that I wanted to mention is well known to you, or should be, which is that all of those lists, every single one of them, are pale imitations, shadows, cast by the ultimate one list to rule them all. The ultimate year-end book list is, of course, my own, which I've been doing for decades on my literary blog, Steve Reads, which I revive. It is in mothballs but while I just do reviews, but it is revived at the end of every year in order to do the year's best and worst books in all the categories that I read, 10 books each. It's a long process. It takes as long into December as it goes, as many categories as there are, and it starts on December 1st. It starts tomorrow. I wanted to make sure that that you remembered that, or those of you who didn't know it, learned it, which is that we have an app. Open Letters Review is where the list will be appearing. We have an app in your app store. Any app store that you use, Android, iOS, you can download it. It's free. The app is very well done, very well designed, and that will be uploaded every single day starting on December 1st. Until we run out of lists, there'll be, no matter what you read, there'll be something there I'm doing reprints, literature and translation, fiction debut, children's and YA, science fiction and fantasy, mystery, historical fiction, romance, science, nature, reference, history, biography, and then the big drum roll happens, and then you get the big quartet. Once all the categories are done, you get the big quartet at the end, because the big quartet at the end is worst fiction, best fiction, worst nonfiction, and best nonfiction. And that's all happening in December, and that is the only year-end book list that you need to worry about. Not so much in the case of The Guardian, or other UK-based places, or anywhere outside the United States. My remit is new releases in the United States. So that was one of the reasons I found Eric's video so interesting, is because he lives in the UK and is right on top of all this stuff and knows a lot more about the stuff that hasn't had a US publication date than I do. So it's a fascinating video. I'll make sure to leave a link to it down below. But in terms of book lists for the US, you're going to be bombarded with them, and there's only one to pay attention to. Okay, eyes on the prize. And then I also wanted, for MegaStuff, I want to give you an update on Nanowrimo. National Novel Writing Month happens every November, where hundreds of thousands of people get together to try to write the 50,000 word beginning, first draft of a novel in the month of November. And there's always been a quixotic type element to Nanowrimo, because November, because of the gearing up of the holiday season, national elections, all kinds of things, conspire to make November a very busy month anyway. A lot of schools have exams in November. Students have to study. Any time you take from writing is time you take away from studying, and so on and so forth down the line. And Nanowrimo has forged ahead anyway. At the beginning, there were calls to change the month, but they forged ahead anyway in November. And I knew that going in. I've been doing Nanowrimo for a long time now, and I knew that going in. But this whole chaos here at Hyde Cottage was unanticipated. A week ago, I did not know any of this was going to happen, or 10 days ago. And also, my little Frida, my little miniature schnauzer, has been having health problems, and those weren't foreseeable. And I've been having health problems, and those weren't foreseeable either. I firmly believe, I know everybody says this about Nanowrimo, but I firmly believe that in 2020, the obstacles facing me to complete Nanowrimo, to so-called win it, were severe. more severe than usual. Plus a pandemic, and Massachusetts numbers are through the roof, plus a million other things. However, I have never lost Nanowrimo. Now, I don't believe you can really lose Nanowrimo. If Nanowrimo as an event gives you a communal feel to your writing instead of feeling quite so isolated, or if it pushes you to make writing an active part of every day's agenda, whether you get to a certain amount, 1,667 words a day or not, if Nanowrimo does either one of those things or both, then it has succeeded and you have won. But technically speaking, in order to win Nanowrimo, you have to reach 50,000 words. And I am close. I am very, very close. Probably by the time this video uploads, I will have reached 50,000 words, but in my case, that doesn't matter so much, because the story that I'm writing isn't done yet. I don't want to just hit 50,000 words and then stop. I have timed this thing, planned its arc, so that I would hit the end, so that I'd be able to write the end when I finish NaNoWriMo. And that, I think I have 2,300 words to go to reach 50,000 words, but I don't. I have at least 4,400 words to reach the end. And what I would like to do today, somehow, maybe by the time this video uploads, or maybe not, maybe tomorrow, would be to reach the end, not just to reach 50,000 words. So we shall see. We shall see. I've had a blast, but I firmly believe that the wrinkles I've had in my daily scheduling in November, especially the end of November, the very end of November, were more formidable than, I think they were formidable enough so that I could use them as an excuse. But I don't want to do that. I don't want there to be a year where I didn't finish what I started for NaNoWriMo roughly on time. So I'm going to try for November, or for midnight tonight. We shall see. I will give you a post-NaNoWriMo update and ask you for your post-NaNoWriMo update in due course. And then lastly, we've got some mail. A few packages here that have accumulated. Not much. I've got a lot of e-galleys, and that's a thing I need to work on for future videos. I need to work on how to deal with e-galleys so that we're not just not doing books at all. Let's see what this first one is. I should have checked the return address. Wow. Okay, great. Well, some of you in our little corner of BookTube, this book will be familiar to you because there was a special, very enjoyable Hate Steve reading group for this book. This is Unspeakable, the Story of Junius Wilson by Susan Birch and BookTube's own Hannah Joyner of Hannah's Books. I'll leave a link to her channel as well, just in case you're encountering this and not knowing. Hannah has a wonderful BookTube channel. And this is her book that she co-wrote, that a group of booktubers decided to do a read-along. And when they were having their Voxer chats about it, they said, well, do you think we could coordinate to do a read-along of Susan's book? And several of them piped up at the same time and said, well, the coordination's important, but it's not as important as excluding Steve, because he smells. Well, now I have a copy of my own to read in bitter, sad solitude. And this is... it has a blurb from the Washington Post. I wonder who did it. I wonder who wrote it up for the Post. Guarantee I would know them. Well, I can check and see. Let me read you just a blurb in case you've missed those videos, the Anti-Steve videos, and you don't know what this is, because it's an amazing story that these two authors have unearthed. Junius Wilson spent 76 years at a state mental hospital in Goldsboro, North Carolina, including 6 in the criminal ward. He had never been declared insane by a medical professional or found guilty of any criminal charge, but he was deaf and black in the Jim Crow South. This book is the story of his life. In addition to offering a bottom-up history of life in a segregated mental institution, the author's biography also enriches the traditional interpretations of Jim Crow by highlighting the complicated intersections of race and disability, as well as of community and language. And I'm very happy to have this straight from the hand of the author. That is wonderful. Okay, and then we've got another package and then two boxes, and then we'll be done with this MegaStuff video. No idea how long it will go. The temptation is, of course, there for the MegaStuff video to last 2 hours because I haven't seen you in so long, but I'm going to resist that temptation and start off nice and slow. So what is this next one? Oh my. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, my. Someone sound the alarm. in the early spring of 2021, we're going to have a massive infusion of, well, actually, a massive infusion of leather elbow-patched academics throat clearing for 3,000 words in the New York Review of Books and elsewhere. Oh, my, it's going to be agonizing. This is a new book that comes out in March. It is called Places of Mind, A Life of Edward Said by Timothy Brennan. There is Said right there. Oh my. Oh goodness gracious. That is the book. Along with Susan Sontag, Noam Chomsky, and Hannah Arendt, Edward Said was one of the most important and influential public intellectuals of the post-war period. Certainly if you asked him. Born in mandatory Palestine, raised between Jerusalem and Cairo, and educated at Harvard and Princeton, Said was a brilliant, cosmopolitan, and complex thinker and writer. Did he write this himself? I thought he was dead. A trailblazing figure in the field of Arab and post-colonial studies. And the publisher is very excited to announce the forthcoming publication of the first major biography of this man. And it is going to bring, oh my God, the people that is going to bring out of the woodwork. Oh my God. Now I'm absolutely praying that Timothy Brennan doesn't vacation at Martha's Vineyard, or I'm going to be one of those people who's called out of the woodworks to write about this. I'm dreading reading his author biography. I love the Vineyard. Oh no. Let's see here. In Places of Mind, Timothy Brennan takes us back to Said's peripatetic youth in Egypt and Palestine and his school days as at a Massachusetts boarding school. And you can watch now. Watch when spring comes, when March comes. Watch to see how many reviewers use that word peripatetic. He guides us through Said's studies at Princeton and Harvard and his long, brilliant career at Columbia. Brennan vividly captures the diverse facets of Said's work and membership in the Palestine National Council, to his interactions with Yasser Arafat over the years, as well as his regular engagement with the American media. Said would appear frequently on national television programs during the peak of his fame, from the McNeil-Lehrer NewsHour to the Phil Donahue Show. And even his engagement with the classical music world. Said was an accomplished pianist who later founded, with Daniel Barenboim, the West Eastern Divan Orchestra, which to this day brings together young Arab and Israeli musicians under one baton. It's a great orchestra. Most significantly, Places of Mind is a revealing intellectual portrait of Said and his oeuvre. Brennan uncovers Said's early influences and recounts his beginnings as a young Conrad scholar, new to Columbia's comparative literature department. He traces his interactions and engagement with thinkers from Lionel Trilling. Note, Lionel Trilling was not mentioned in that cavalcade of great 20th century intellectuals. A little odd. To Foucault, of course. You're gonna haul in Foucault, absolutely. And he provides incisive readings of Said's work. Okay, all right. Timothy Brennan, a professor at the University of Minnesota and the author of Borrowed Light, Vico, Hegel, and the Colonies, among other books, began his academic career as a graduate student under Said, and the two were friends up until Said's death in 2003. In order to write Places of Mind, Brennan dug deep into Said's archive, interviewed his childhood contemporaries, lovers, and comrades, and read the entirety of his work, even undergraduate essays and unpublished fiction. Good Lord. The result is a three-dimensional portrait of a complex and dazzling, unique intellect whose outsized impact remains with us today. Okay. Dare I look at this guy's author biography? He teaches the humanities at the University of Minnesota and has received fellowships from the Fulbright Scholarship, the American Council of Learned Societies. Okay. All right, so he's in Minnesota, where no one reputable lives. So there we go, a biography of Edward Said. Oh my God. Oh my. All right, well, it's going to get reviewed everywhere, absolutely everywhere. It comes out in late March. It's going to get reviewed in just everywhere. So I don't know that I'm going to review it, but plenty of people are. Oh, hello, baby. Hello, baby. You want to see your fans? God, they haven't seen you in a while, have they? Oh. There's the baby bean. Little bedraggled. It's raining out, isn't it, baby? You had to walk in the rain. Oh. There you go. There you go. All right, let's see. I'm almost done. Don't you worry. Let's see what we have for the first box. Mail in a totally revamped room. Amazing. No, I'm not feeling up to that. Not feeling up to a box. Well, it's all right. You'll get your top spin back eventually. No one's expecting miracles from you. Not at all. No one's expecting miracles. All right, so what have we got here? Can't read those. Okay, this is from Yale University Press. Comes out in early January. And it is a biography of Idi Amin by Mark Leopold. Interesting. Idi Amin began his career in the British Army in colonial Uganda and worked his way up the ranks before seizing power in a British-backed coup in 1971. He built a violent and unstable dictatorship, ruthlessly eliminating perceived enemies and expelling Uganda's Asian population as the country plunged into social and economic chaos. In this powerful and provocative new account, Mark Leopold places Amin's military background and close relationship with the British state at the heart of the story. He traces the interwoven development of Amin's career and his popular image as an almost supernaturally evil monster, demonstrating the impossibility of fully distinguishing the truth from the many myths surrounding the dictator. That's a biographer who's starting off his opening gambit is to say it's impossible to tell what's true and what's not. We'll see. This is just the pub sheet. Using an innovative biographical approach, Leopold reveals how Amin was, from birth, deeply rooted in the history of British colonial rule, how his rise was a legacy of imperialism. Oh, come on, he was a psychopath. And how his monstrous image was created. Okay, well, all right. Okay, we will see what we will see. I have not read the book, of course. I won't read the book until the new year. But the pub sheet seems to suggest that we should blame the British Empire for Idi Amin. And if that's true, it is unbelievably tangentially true. He was a psychopath, a complete psychopath, and a murderer. And it's not hard to know that at all. Okay, so we're two biographies now of Edward Said and Idi Amin. And we've got the third one. The last thing here is a box. And it's big and it's heavy, so it could be another biography. That would be fantastic. Let's see here. What do we have? What is this huge thing? Good Lord, it's enormous. I don't need that. Oh my. Oh, what on earth? Oh, the folks at Yale University Press. If I didn't already love them, I would love them now. Oh my God. This comes out in early January as well. Oh my God, I am plotzing. This is absolutely beautiful. Oh, I want so bad to dive in. I can't until January, but I will. This is from Yale University Press, and it is the selected works of Samuel Johnson in a gorgeous, gigantic volume. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh. Samuel Johnson was 18th century Britain's preeminent man of letters, with his influence as lexicographer and literary critic enduring to this day. This anthology, designed to make Johnson's essential works accessible to students and general readers alike, draws its text from the definitive Yale edition of the works of Samuel Johnson. Comprehensive in scope, it includes many essays from The Rambler and Rasselas, the prefaces to Dr. Johnson's dictionary and his edition of Shakespeare, as well as generous selections from A Journey to the Western Islands of Scotland. Arranged thematically, this collection allows readers to focus on such topics as religion, literature, and war. In addition to its biographical introduction, Samuel Johnson's selected works includes ample annotations and enlarges the commentary in the Yale edition. So even if you have the Yale edition, this has something that it doesn't. Incredible. Incredible. Okay, this is edited by Robert DeMaria, Stephen Fix, and Howard Weinbrot, and it comes out in early January. Wow. All right. Well, that is certainly the book of the month. So there you go. That is your MegaStuff video. We have Nanowrimo and babies and mail and solarium, all the whole 9 yards. So we have the selected works of Samuel Johnson. Incredible. And then a biography of Idi Amin. That the pub sheet anyway seems to want to blame others for his evil. I won't tolerate that, but maybe the book doesn't do that, so we shall see. Then a biography of Edward Said. Enough said, except a lot more is going to be said. Not enough said right now, but that's not going to stop every armchair theoretician in the world from weighing in on this thing. And finally, Unspeakable. The Story of Junius Wilson. By Susan Birch and Hannah, our very own Hannah from Hannah's Books. Fantastic. So that was not a bad mail haul, considering. And that is your MegaStuff video for today. I will leave you one more glance at Chunky. I have known many of those dogs. And a part of me actually thought that maybe when my girls died, that's the kind of dog that would come to me. be a big, muscular pit bull, or more than one. But it never happened. Instead, a little Hanoverian warrior princess who's not really feeling herself right now. She's not. She hasn't told me what to do in well over 2 hours. So, but she will. She'll start to feel herself soon enough. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this MegaStuff up. I said it was not going to be long. It ended up being long. But I will see you soon. And it's nice to see you again. It's nice to be back. Thank you, BookTube.